portal or recruiting. And
high school recruiting.
The issue is high school recruiting, right? And the issue is now is that in the era of where we are, right, with NIL and transfer portal and everything, success is not, you don't wait on it, right? You don't wait on success. If Kyle Whittingham comes to Michigan and he goes 7-5 next year, and he follows that up with maybe a 10-9-3 season, and he doesn't beat Ohio State, he's gone.
Yeah.
Like, there is no doubt in my mind he is gone, and we are thinking of bringing in somebody else. That's only 2 years. But there's no excuse anymore, because in a lot of these places, including a place like Michigan with their NIL fund, there's no such thing as, oh, I need time for my guys to develop. I need time for my team to get to that point to where I want them to be. You have the portal. You have the financial means. You have the ability to go to get the players that you want to go win a championship right now. We don't have to wait. And I just saw that list of Michigan players who are transferring out yesterday. I can't believe Cole Sullivan's transferring out, man. That makes me so upset.
Real quick, just on the Demond Williams things real quick. It was tweeted by On3 again that Washington plans to enforce its contract with Demond Williams. So just putting it out there again that seems like there's some adults in the room.
Well, and you need to make them sign contracts, like extended contracts. Like that, you need to be able to give the schools the ability to be like, hey, you're going to be here for at least 2 years. Sorry. Like that. And if you sign on the dotted line, you sign on the dotted line. You don't get to just one day wake up and be like, you know what, I want to be a LSU Tiger. No, that's not how that works. Sorry. But talking about the high school recruiting or transfer portal, I think it's just the pressure is on coaches right now because, again, success and instant gratification, that's everything in college football now. Again, you're not allowed to use the excuse of, well, we're young. Well, we're building. We're getting there. You know, like when Harbaugh first came to Michigan, we were willing to look past the early struggles because we're like, oh, he's building, right? He's getting there. You got to give him a little bit.
Which those weren't early struggles on what we were used to. A 10-3 season, we were used to 8-4, 7-5, 6-6. Right. So everyone was happy with that. Outside of trouble with the Snappers first year, other than that, it was pretty good.
I saw a TikTok video the other day of if you could change one sporting event in your life, which one would it be? And outside of USA v Canada gold medal game in the 2010 Olympics, ice hockey Olympics,
I remember that.
Outside of Crosby scoring the game-winning goal in overtime in Canada when we had an opportunity to beat them in Vancouver, I would say definitely trouble with the snap. I don't think I would
say the spot, JT Barrett spot. That'd be mine.
Yeah.
Just because it's Ohio State.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
And 2016.
Yeah. And if
in their place.
And if they won that,
they go to a title.
They would have played in a Big Ten championship game, which would have gotten the been an Indy monkey off his back, and you would have got the Ohio State monkey off his back. And that's a damn good Michigan football team. They could have won it all that year. No, I think they still would have ran into a buzzsaw in Clemson, but it would have been good.
I mean, they had Devin Bush. Who else?
Devin Bush was a backup. Devin Bush was a special teams player that year.
Wasn't Jabril Peppers was on the team that year?
Yeah,
man. The fact that we didn't do anything with Jabril Peppers is so sad.
But Devin
talk about
Bush,
a dynamic player.
To your perspective, Devin Bush was a special teams player for Michigan that year.
That's crazy. Sealed it against Michigan State the following year. But anyways, yeah, no, it's ridiculous, man. But I understand where the struggle for coaches. Like if you're going to a Michigan, if you're going to an LSU, if you're going to a Bama with Kalen DeBoer, which I don't buy the whole that they fell off. They still made the playoffs. They still made the second round of it. They're not Nick Saban's Alabama anymore, but they're still damn good.
It's the way it looked. It's the way it looked.
Yeah, that's true. But anyways, if you're going to any one of those places, the expectation is win now. And so I don't think you completely go away from high school recruiting. I don't think you ever can. I think that's the foundation of your team. But especially if you have the resources to be able to develop them. But I don't blame Curt Cignetti at all. Because winning now sets up everything in the future. And if Indiana goes out and wins a championship this year, I mean, you talk about completely changing the trajectory of a program. Win now is the expectation. And so I can't blame coaches for doing what they're doing. They're simply just adjusting to the times. And that's why we're seeing coaches left and right stepping away from the sport, especially the OGs, because they're like, I don't want to navigate this anymore.
What's Curt
This is
Cignetti
ridiculous.
still doing, though?
Well, I mean,
He's
I don't
just
think Curt
there.
Ferentz is ever going to leave Iowa. Yeah, he's like, he's a lifetimer.
But I would
Yeah,
say,
shout out to him beating Vanderbilt.
I would say to your point, there's two coaches I think in college athletics that have kind of ruined. Again, I'm not saying ruined is a bad thing for them or the school or whatever. I'm not saying ruin is a bad thing, but I'm saying ruin the OG way of building college teams. I think I look at a Curt Cignetti and I look at a Dusty May. I think those two coaches have ruined the way that it used to be done. Look at what Cignetti. It's kind of based on what the trajectories of their first two seasons are. It's kind of the same. You see, Cignetti and May, they both come into Indiana and Michigan, both programs that were in tough spots. May took over an 8-win team. That team sucked. There was the only players. The only players were left were Cheddar and Burnett. I think those were the only two. Oh, Jace Howard. My bad. Anyway, and then Cignetti is taking over the worst football team of all time, worst college football team of all time. And again, I still think Indiana was fraudulent. I still think Michigan was a little fraudulent based on who they beat. Michigan got hot, won the Big Ten tournament, got to Sweet 16. Indiana gets to a college football playoff. That's it. Then you look at year two, and mind you, they just white clean with everyone. They brought in almost all transfer players. And then you look at their year two, Indiana is, I think, my favorite to win the college football playoff, win the national championship. They win the Big Ten. They beat Ohio State. They're doing things that Indiana fans only dreamed of doing. Then you look at Michigan this year, outside of yesterday, which horrible basketball game, by the way. Don't know what Happy Valley. I don't know what Happy. They still won. You're right, but I don't understand what Happy Valley does to top 10 Michigan basketball teams. I don't understand it, but something just happens. Anyway, you look at Michigan this year, and they are historically one of the best college basketball teams of all time. It's still January 7th. There's still lots of basketball to be played. I understand that.
Right.
But looking at the numbers of, 13 games in the season, they're better than the Fab Five. They're better than the Anthony Davis Kentucky team. They're on pace to go 40, like the Kentucky teams with Cat, Devin Booker, and all them. The Gonzaga teams, the Christian Laettner teams. Like, those two coaches in their each sport respectively, brilliant minds, but they looked at two things: production to potential. And Cignetti talked about it. He says he took he made a ton of mistakes as Alabama's recruiting coordinator, that he looked at potential more than production. And Dusty May has almost all transfer portal recruits outside of Kaysen, McKinney, and Winters, Grady, and Oscar Goodman. But the majority of the team is all transfers. And that's what things where coaches kind of have to look at things. Like, I remember looking at in 2016, oh my God, Michigan had a top 10 transfer college recruiting class. Like, that used to mean something. Now it doesn't really hold that same weight. I would much rather have a 15th or a 13th recruiting class in the nation in terms of high school, and I would have a top 15 transfer portal recruiting class, because you can still bring in some of those, because you can still bring in some young players that have some really high upside, like an Andrew Marsh, like a Jaden Sanders, like a Bryce Underwood, and an Andrew Babaloa. But at the same time, you can also inject a little bit of talent in terms of veteran guys, like Pat Coogan, for instance, for Indiana. Fantastic player at Notre Dame, doing the thing at Indiana. So I think that weighs certain ways. I myself, if I was a coach, I'd want a little bit of both, because I still think you need to have those high school relationships. I still think you can also somehow keep those guys for 2 to 3 years, become high draft picks. I still think you need a little bit of both, but at the same time, the incoming high school class doesn't mean as much as it used to.